Hello and welcome to this episode of the Ranting Atheist podcast. Today we'll be listening to the deconversion story of a fellow Nigerian atheist who shares how she deconverted from Christianity after going through a seriously toxic indoctrination, like shame culture of the church that even made her consider suicide at the time. She also escaped a very abusive marriage that almost claimed her life. But one thing that helped her start deconstructing this whole Christianity was when she decided to study theology, and she discovered the history of Christianity, how Christians, the old different beliefs about hell she was taught as a child, the various confusion, and all these experiences were just more than enough for Christianity to scatter right in front of her and no longer make sense. So it was a very amazing story, a very great conversation. Today she uses her platform as a YouTuber to expose and highlight the evils of Christianity, especially how it affects Nigeria. She really focused on Nigeria, even though she doesn't live in Nigeria anymore. So if you are yet to subscribe, please consider subscribing on Apple, Spotify, Google, and other places podcasts are available. And now, let's go and listen to the deconversion story of the Afro Humanist. The Afro Humanist, you are welcome to the Story of an Atheist. It's finally great to have you here.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
How are you doing now?
I'm doing very well, thank you. And how are you doing?
We are surviving Buhari's Nigeria.
Oh, gosh.
Every day, prices are swelling like Gary. Crisis in the east and the north, here and there. I hope nothing touches us here in the west for now, because crisis up and down. I don't understand. It's really discouraging at times. Really discouraging.
Gosh. Well,
yeah. Thank you for coming to share your story with us, because Nigerians need to know that atheists exist among us. We are really human beings.
Oh yes, absolutely. I also look for opportunities to share my story, because more and more people need to realize that atheism is not a disease. Atheism is as normal as they come. It's the average person is an atheist. We are all atheists. All of us. We are all atheists.
Fantastic. Yeah, so the average man is you do like now the listener would like to know a little more about you, like, okay, your location, for age, are you millennial or Gen X? We between Gen Z, like, just give us,
I'm over 40. I'm over 40 years old, if that's what you want to know. I'm an old woman.
It's just to give an idea of the demographics that usually come on. So yeah, so you let me see, this is like within the the third person within your generation to
my generation. My God, make me sound like I'm an old woman. I say my generation.
Even with the millennials, they always have us now. The different generations.
Generation.
It's true that generation. Gen Z, those Gen Z, they para. Yeah, so it's just a location, what you do for a living, any other thing you would like us to know about you.
Okay, so I'm over 40 years old, but of course I would not be telling you my exact age. Why should I? But yeah, I'm also a mother. I've got two sons. I live in the UK.
Great.
I live in the UK at the moment. I'm half Nigerian. My mom was not Nigerian, but for the my formative years, I grew up in Nigeria. So, yeah, moved to the UK over 20 years ago. So, yeah, but wow. I'm still Niger by I think by my dad is Nigerian, so that makes me Nigerian. So.
Okay, fantastic. So now, when it comes to this whole religion spectrum, what do you currently identify as? Agnostic, atheist, irreligious, or you don't just do labels?
I'm atheist.
Okay.
I'm an atheist.
That's the fact
yes.
Too. Mm-hmm. So if I should ask you to define atheism, what's your own definition?
My definition is I do not have sufficient evidence to hold a God belief, and so I do not hold a God belief at the moment. If there is evidence for a God anytime in the future, then that might change. Yeah. So I think I might say, you might consider me agnostic atheist. But for the moment, I'm an atheist.
Okay. All right. That's great. Agnostic atheist, yeah.
I'm non-religious.
Yeah. All right. So okay. So now let us dive into what was your religious background like? What was your faith tradition? Give us to the extent to which you are comfortable with.
Okay, that's not a problem. So I grew up in Deeper Life Church. My mom was a Deeper Lifer till the day she died. My dad is he's very old now, but he's still the Deeper Life pastor still comes to see him at home. We started off going to the Presbyterian church. Then my parents, my dad had the moment of going, from different church to church until they found Deeper Life. And they decided to make Deeper Life their home church, much to our detriment. But that's where I had my, I would say, introduction to religion, introduction to Christianity in the Deeper Life Church. Yeah.
So now you're introduced. How did you take it? Like, take us on that journey.
Oh, that journey was hard, because when they started going to Deeper Life Church, we were made to give up our television. Mom had to give away all her jewelry. So we could not wear jewelry. We could not wear trousers. We could not even wearing deodorant was frowned on. Yes, even wearing deodorant was frowned on. No wonder they're always smelling at it.
They are smelling.
You see under when they are going like this, you see all the sweat under the
sweat. No wonder.
No antiperspirant. So, I hear that some places now they're becoming more relaxed with those their nonsense laws. There were lots of things that we could not do. We had to be in church every week, at least 3 times a week. I still remember Mondays were Bible studies, and Thursdays was miracle. I've forgotten what they called it, miracle. Then Saturdays, if you had any events, like if you were in choir, you went for choir practice. Then Sunday, you had main service on Sunday. We would go to the children's church. Me and my sister, my brothers, they would go to their own. Then my mom and dad would go to theirs. Now, even though my father was a pastor in the Deeper Life Church, that did not stop him from gallivanting and going with women. He left my mom and married another one young sissy that he saw in one university. I don't know what he was doing there. And I had a conversation with my dad saying, but you say you love God. Why are you doing this to our mom? He said, he's ready to follow all of God's laws. But this particular one of just one wife, he said he does not owe anybody any explanation. The only person he owes explanation is God. So that's explanation for him and God. They will deal with that by themselves. But that woman showed him shaggy. That woman showed him shaggy. He nearly died in the hands of that sissy. But that's a story for another day. The very strict rules. I know some of my mother's friends who had married the deeper life way and were in horrible marriages because of all the laws. They had the marriage committee then. This marriage committee, you had to, when you go and you have to approach them. The brother has to approach them to when they see a will of God, right? And then the marriage committee will approach the sister for the will. They say, somebody, and then you cannot, dating had to be in the church setting. You couldn't go anywhere outside church to date. And you had to have chaperones, right? A chaperone will have to sit there and be watching both of you. All this is this is how they do their dating until you get married. So you are not to have any sexual contact. You are not to have any carnal knowledge of each other until the day you get married. Yeah, there were very strict rules that we grew up in. But let me break down how these indoctrination into deeper life was very damaging for me personally.
Yeah. Okay.
We were young when we were introduced to the concept of hell. Giving your life to Christ and accepting Jesus into your heart. So we were made to give up our televisions, but we were taken to church to go and watch movie night. We have movie where we go and watch movie at church. But the movies that we watch, I still remember one was called The Burning Hell. We will go and watch what hell is going to look like when you die. Right? All the people that are burning, the weeping and gnashing of teeth and all these things that happen. And it's usually late at night. In the evenings we go when it's already dark and it will be outside, right? On the projector screens. And so by the time you finish watching this very scary movie, then they will now do altar call, calling you forward to come and give your life to Christ if you don't want to burn in this particular place that you have just finished watching. So we will go forward. You see us crying. Me, my sister, we'll be crying our eyes out because we don't want to burn in hell forever and ever. And they will so emphasize it that if you die tonight in your sleep, now that you know the truth, if anything was to happen to you and you die, where will you spend your eternity? Are you going to burn in hell, or would you be with Jesus? And this, we will give our lives to Christ, though. And the thing is, the way they used to make us feel then, there was never a time that I could put my hand on my heart and tell you that indeed I was truly born again, because you always never felt like you were born again enough. Yeah, you're never sure, because you are punished for thought crime. You cannot think anything. You see one fine looking boy, walking past, you can't look at him. Man, as a fine dude, man. You look and think, hey, gosh, I've lost it in my heart. Now I have to go and ask for forgiveness.
God forgive me. God forgive me. God forgive me.
You have to go and beg God for forgiveness for thinking about that fine young man that you saw. And then I had really bad insomnia because of this idea that if you died in your sleep, where will you spend your eternity? So I used to not at night when I was young suffer with bad sleeping disorder because I did not want to sleep and go to hell. What if I slept and there was a sin that I did not know about? Yeah, there was something that somewhere that maybe I just did not ask God for forgiveness for.
Yeah.
And then I died. What will happen? That means I'm going to hell. We used to go to camp. Every time they would do all this I've forgotten what they call it now. Thank you. We used to go to retreat. That retreat was very scary because the parents will go to their own church. We, the children, will go to our own section. While we are in our section, they will teach us day 1, but by day 2 or day 3, they will now say, everybody stand up, close your eyes. There are some witches among us here. Some of you children are witches. Some of you have been given something to eat. Some of you fly at night. Hey! I will sit down there thinking, there are witches among us in this place. They will tell everybody, on no occasion must you open your eyes. They say, before we start praying fire to come and get you, come and burn you, you better come forward. So I didn't really know what was going on because my eyes were closed in fear. My sister is by my side. You start hearing children screaming, so eerie. Then later on, they will now say, okay, since no, if you're not coming out, we're going to pray fire. Then they will now start praying, fire of Jesus. Go and fish out all the witches. Go and fish them out. And then you start seeing children going out. This one it didn't really bother me too much until one of our friends was one of the girls who went out and testified, right? That she had been given witchcraft and she would fly at night and this and that. Funke, I still remember her name, Funke.
Oh, God damn it.
I started to be afraid of Funke. When we went back to our individual church, everybody after retreat, they made Funke come forward and testify that she was delivered of witchcraft at the retreat. Right? At the children's. My mother said she never wants to see us again with that girl because if they could give her witchcraft to eat, she does not want us to be initiated like Funke. I started running away. If I see Funke coming from a mile away, I will run the other direction because witchcraft, even though she has been delivered, but the fear. So these are the things that we grew up believing. We grew up thinking were true. Honestly, I believed all these things. I believed that these things were real. Then when we grew old enough, my parents, my mom, she said, we're old enough to choose whatever church we want to go to if we don't want to come to Deeper Life or if you want to carry on. So I started going to Redeem. I got baptized in Redeem Christian Church of God. Used to go to, what do you call that place on Lagos Ibadan Express Road? I've forgotten where do you go and gather on that
redemption camp?
Used to go there. That's where I was baptized. And I carried on going. After Redeem, went to a few. I had my bad moments in Redeem. I remember one Sunday, I joined the youth fellowship in Redeem. because I was, you had to be Jim in the Lord. You had to be on fire for God.
Training, all those things.
I was made secretary in the youth fellowship. So one day we said we had to have a meeting with our youth pastor. All of us gathered in the pastor's office. Say, we haven't seen you, sir, to come and talk to us since they made you our pastor. The man said, you people came to see me. Yes. He said, you, stand up. You're talking to me. I should stand up. I stood up. He said, turn around. I was looking. I said, turn around. Now, we are all the youth are gathered. Plus the pastor in the pastor's office. He said I should turn around. I turned around. Then he said, look at how she's dressed. Look at. And you people want me to come and teach or to come and meet you people when you have people dressed like, what was it I was wearing? I wore traditional attire. It was short sleeve. Right? No, sleeveless. Yeah. Sleeveless.
Okay.
So my arm was showing.
Oh. So it was the arm that was his problem?
My arm was showing. And then the headscarf, the way I tied it like this. Like in such a way that you could still see some of my hair. Otherwise, it was a long gown. But because my arm was showing, the man made me turn around for everybody
in front of everybody.
To see. I can go on and on with my experiences. There are so many. There are many until I left. I left Nigeria and came to the UK. When I came to the UK, I said, "Okay, I'm here now." But then we were told then that here in the UK they don't worship God. That these people worship Satan more than they worship God. That we in Nigeria, we have the strong version of, we have the way we worship is different. So they say, if you know you really want to carry on that worship, you must find yourself in Nigerian church. I looked for Nigerian church. I found Nigerian church and I started going to Nigerian church.
What flavor of Christianity?
I don't know if you know this man. What's his name? He's I think in Ibadan. Sort of the Spirit Ministries. What's his name?
I don't think I will know.
I will remember his name in a minute. It was his church. His branch in London.
Imagine, as in
his branch Nigeria in London
is just exporting churches like
his branch in London. What's his name now? Sort of the Spirit Ministry. I'll find it in a minute. I'll tell you. I'll remember. Sam. No, not Sam. What's his name? I'll remember. Not to worry. So I was going to this church. How old was I? I was about 22 then. I was young. And I was living with my brother. And on the side, I was seeing this young man who was like my boyfriend. But because I was dating this young man and we were not married, I was not a worker in the church. I was not participating because I did not feel like I was worthy enough to, because I was seeing my dude on the side. So don't let me go and taint the church for them. But I will still go to church. So anyway, I found myself as a member. So eventually I got pregnant. The father of my baby said he did not want the child and he wanted me to have an abortion. And I was not feeling I wasn't feeling it. I felt like, no, I'm going to carry this baby. It's already bad enough that me, a Christian lady, is pregnant. Then to go and commit abortion, that would be double. That would be double trouble.
Double sin.
I had to break the news to my mom, who was still in Nigeria. And Mom, I am pregnant. Hey, my God. My mom was disappointed. She was disappointed. They sent you to the UK to go and get a good life for yourself, and you wound up getting pregnant outside wedlock. We that were from no, I had an earful. But the good thing is, at least church was there. I took my two left leg and one right and one left. Went to the church. I went to the church leadership to go and tell them, see my predicament. I live with my brother. I don't really have much of a community of friends, and I'm pregnant, and I don't want to abort this baby. Please, just any support. It wasn't even financial support because I was working. Just community, just so that I don't feel like I'll have this baby on my own. I've never had a child before. I was young, 22, 23. And at least these were mothers who've already had children. I felt like they were the right people to go to for community. They said, okay, but that they'll have to they'll have to say something to church members on Sunday. That's what they said. They'll have to say something to church members on Sunday. I didn't understand what that meant. I did not understand. Come Sunday, I was in the church. Service was going on. Middle of the service, they called me out to the front. I went to the front. He said, they have an announcement to make that this lady is pregnant and no, the father is not in the picture. That they're announcing it because a sin has been committed and they have to do open rebuke. Me, I was standing there thinking, what are they rebuking? What are they rebuking me for? I'm not a worker in this church. I came to you people for. So anyway, I still stood there they said, the pastor said, he's not saying this so that anybody can bash me, but that the church should support me. So they will assign a couple to me up until when I have the baby, who will be my, I don't know what they call them then. This couple would counsel me for the duration of my pregnancy. Okay. I felt very embarrassed. I felt like the ground should open up and swallow me. Yay! See, embarrassment 101. Well, anyway, I felt like it is church people now. This is God. God, I've done something wrong. I've gotten pregnant outside wedlock. This is the price I need to pay. All this embarrassment. After that, what they did to me in the church, I'm telling you, I went and stood the next Monday. I stood in front of the train track. I wanted to jump and kill myself. Yes, because my mom had done, she was so disappointed. Someone called me from Nigeria. They said, the people in Nigeria said that me, I went to London to go and become a prostitute. Other people came to London to become good people. They're doing good things with their life. Me, I came to London to come and be a prostitute. It was my own sibling that said it to me. Then the church, they did that to me. I felt like I was good for nothing. Good for nothing. Anyway, I don't know. I changed my mind. I don't know what it was. I felt like it's not fair on this child, this child has not asked for this. And the world can say what they want, but this child has not asked for this. And I don't know what God's plan is for this child. So that was what made me change my mind. I decided, okay, don't kill yourself just yet. Just let's wait and see, So, the couple that they assigned as my counselors, they said we should have a meeting the next 2 weeks time, they set a meeting. I went for the meeting. Husband and wife sat down. They sat there. I sat. They sat.
Yeah, maybe.
Now, the overseer in Nigeria, his daughter just died not long before this meeting. They said she was in university. She fell ill in school and she died. They said she had typhoid or something like that. He only had 2 children. And the young girl, she was a member of Scripture Union. She was on fire for God in the university, and she died. So we started the meeting with prayers. And the lady said to me, she said that I should count myself lucky to be in the land of the living. That people that are truly serving God, like the daughter of I need to remember the name of this man. The daughter of this man that has just died. That what makes me think that I am better. Someone that was doing the work of God fervently, and here I am messing around with my body, sleeping around, and now the father does not. This lady berated me, told me that I should. What was it she said? I should be lucky I'm alive with the sin that I'm busy committing. So the fact that God has still chosen that I'm still alive, that I should see this as an opportunity to rectify. She was just talking. Most of what she was saying, I didn't bother to. Her husband was a lot nicer, to be fair. But she was just going, as if I offended her, as if I sinned against her. Anyway, after that meeting, I said, never again. I cannot face this. This is too much. I came to church. I came to you people to come and tell you people about my pregnancy. I didn't come so that you people can come and no. You people have now become judge and jury over my life. I never went back again. I said, I will. Let me go. Shebi, I'll carry my cross. The church did me more damage than. So you know what I decided to do? I stopped going to church. My son is 19 now, and he's an atheist. He has never been a Christian one day in his life. But he's 19 and he's thriving. He's doing really well. I'm proud of him. When I see him, I said, yes, well done. And I also pat myself on the back for not allowing the church people to carry on berating me and making me feel less than a human because I was pregnant. So yes, that's a little bit about my little history.
Wow, that's quite a lot, man. The damage. Wait, I'm here myself. Are you using earpiece or?
Yes, I'm earpiece. Yes.
But I wonder why I'm here myself. Okay.
I don't know.
All right, no problem. So, you stopped going to church, but you didn't stop believing in God with all the horrible experience.
I didn't stop. I was a backslider.
Yes. So now let's go through that backsliding process.
We had backsliding that time.
Keep God away.
Mm-hmm. So I started going, in and out. On Sunday like this, when I'm at home, hey, I'll be feeling guilty that I should be in church. My Sundays were never when I'm not in the church, I feel like I'm not fulfilled, like something is missing, that God is not happy. I need to be in church. So I'll have my bouts of going to church 6 months, go on Sunday. And I carried on like that, got married to a fellow Christian, a Christian man, a Christian abusive man. He was a prayer warrior. He had the biggest Bible in the whole church. When this guy is praying here, when this guy is praying here, the whole house will be shaking. They put him in charge of prayers. They put him in charge. The pastor even made him the church, what was it now? Was it church secretary or something, because he was on fire for God. But the moment we leave church and we are in the house, he takes off his church clothes. Bring out the beer. We'll drink the beer. Drinking beer was not my issue, but it was the violence that was my problem. How a Christian man would, I will slap you, I would do this, I would do that, considering that it was me who brought him from Nigeria down here. Because we went to school together, we knew each other, we went to school together, we reconnected, I told him, look, I've got a child though. He said, he doesn't mind. In fact, he's got his own, he's got a set of twins himself. I said, oh, even good. At least you understand, what it is to be a father. Because I thought I needed a father figure for my son. I didn't want my son growing up without a father figure in his life. So maybe getting married to this man, he finally joined me here in the UK, but we were married 10 years. Those were the worst 10 years of my life. The marriage was a disaster from day one because we started off with lies. He had been married before, but somehow did not tell me. Anyway, cut long story short, we would go to church. Me and him would go to church. But when we are away from church, it was something else, Our behavior was something else outside of church. Anyway, he had a fight with the pastor on church. So he now decided to stop going. I said, no, I'm going to carry on. We're going to CAC church. So I said, I'm going to keep on going. But he said, no, if he stops going, I need to stop. I said, no, now, come on. I'm not the one fighting with the church. You're the one fighting with the church. So why should I stop? He said, okay, I will let you go. But when it is 1:00, I want you back in this house. I went to church. Pastor and me sat down. Pastor wanted to have a meeting with me to find out what exactly can he do to rectify the fight he has with my ex-husband. And the next thing, my phone starts to ring. He said, it is 1:00 and you are not back in this house. Did I not tell you to come? I said, I'm having a meeting. Hey. He said, I need you to get up now and come home. I'm your husband. I am the head of this home. I tell you. So this Bible, these people that take their Bible very literally and say, because I'm the head, you cannot challenge me. You cannot question me. It's my rule. It's my rule and my rules only. If he will even go as far as to tell me that if he's doing something wrong, I should not approach him while he's in the heat of anger. I should wait until he has calmed down. Yeah? Then I can approach him. Otherwise, because I'm the woman and I have to submit. Oh, it was bad. We went to Nigeria. We paid bride price. We came back. He said, now that I've paid your bride price, I don't want to hear again that I am tired. Say I have paid. So anytime I want sex, you have to give it to me. Because your body, according to the Bible, your body is mine. How did he say it? According to the Bible,
your body is my own body is your own.
That kind of thing. Our sex life was very monotonous. was very one way system. There was no, when you try
No variety.
different things, no, we were one way. After a while, it gets really boring. I started getting fed up of the whole thing, because when you have an aggressive husband who threatens at every slightest thing, he wants to hit you, he wants to beat you. One day you have a swollen face here. Tomorrow, after a while, you stop wanting to have sex with such a person. And then the sex is very monotonous, because we are Christians, and, it has to be a certain way. One day I found the confidence to say to him, look, let us try something different in this man. Let's go to the sex shop in town. Let's go and see because I told him, I said, I don't want sex anymore. I said, but because you still want sex, but let's go and see if we can try something different. He said, okay, yeah, we'll go and see what we can find. I went to work that night when we had that conversation. I came back the next morning, because I was working night shifts. I came back the next morning. He was at the door to welcome me. The look on his face, I knew there was trouble. Hey, what have I done? He said, I should sit down. We need to talk. Hey, I said, God, I'm finished today. What have I done now? He said, that conversation that we had yesterday, he said, where did that come from? I said, which one? He said, this idea that we should try variety in the marriage, go to sex shop. Where did that come? I said, no, look, I just felt like my libido has been dead for a while. And most times I just have to force myself to give in to you. I said, so I was just suggesting that just to try and help you. I said, left to me alone, I don't mind if not to have sex again. I don't mind. But it's you that I'm thinking about, because you still want it all the time. I don't want it. So he said to me, when he was having his bath, that God spoke to him. And God told him that you better tell your wife to watch her have thoughts, that those thoughts of bringing in sex toys into your marriage will be it would lead to your divorce. That God told him that he should tell me that thought of, I should zero it from my mind. God said, when he told me that, I went away thinking, so God knows that I have this problem, that I don't have any sex drive anymore because of this guy's aggression and violence towards me. And the sex has become, very mundane. And God still somehow wants to keep me in this perpetual state of problem. Like, I started to resent God. I said, because if God truly told you that. So he told me, he said, God told him that he should be helping me out in the house a bit more. Help out, maybe. He said, I should go and I've just come back. I should go and have a shower. He'll make me breakfast. I said, oh, okay. He said, maybe if he starts doing more around the house, maybe my sex drive will come back again. He helped the first day. He helped the second day. You think anything changed? Nothing changed. We were back to square one. But this idea that we can try different things as a couple, can you imagine as a married couple, but cannot talk about your sexual desires and fantasies and things like that, because God would somehow be unhappy,
be angry.
Anyway, cut the long story short. Now I'm going to my deconversion. Yeah. So myself and my husband had a very nasty split. I was the instigator, because it was either that or my life. The police was involved. He was arrested for his actions towards me. I don't want to go into all those details, but because there was violence in the marriage. And I said, I would rather leave this marriage with my life than to stay in. And I stayed because God hates divorce.
Yeah.
Right? And one prophet came to our church one day, and the prophet said he wants to see me and my husband. And the prophet said God told him to tell us that both of us are each other's soulmates. That we found the right partners for each other.
Wow.
That if we had not found each other, we would have been unfulfilled in our lives. Do you know, my husband used to lord that thing over me. Anytime we have problems, he'll say, but don't forget what that prophet said. Me and you, we are tied to each other. So you can't go anywhere. Either we solve this problem or we... But I said, fuck. Am I allowed to swear on your show?
Sure.
Say, fuck prophet, fuck all these people. I'd rather get out of this marriage with my life. Anyway, I was on my own with my two boys. And I said, let me even try the Oyinbo People's Church. Yeah? I've been going to, since I came to this UK, I've been going to Niger Church. Let's go and try the Oyinbo People's Church. Now that, because I started going to Oyinbo People's Church when my husband was still, but he said no, Oyinbo People's Church was too boring for him. And he stopped me from going there. So, but after me and him split, now I could go back because I enjoyed going. I saw the way they were practicing their own Christianity in this church. It was different. They don't collect tithes. They don't force you to do anything in the church. Their own Christianity was very... Look, I saw some decent Christians, some good... They helped me through my divorce. They were there with me every step of the way. These people were awesome. But the disparity between their Christianity and our Niger kind of Christian, why so different? So while I was at this church, I even started going for leadership. Up there, you won't be able to see it. Up there, I have my my certificate, Pathways to Ministry. I was about to start theology school. I was going to be a priest in the Church of England. I'd finished a 2-year course. My path was set in Pathways to Ministry. I was preparing to be a priest. But the more we open these books to read about the history of Christianity, the origins and everything, I'm like, guys, this thing is not making sense. There were questions like the creed, what's that? Just thinking about, we would have lectures on the origins of where this religion started. And you hear most of the things they would say. We assume Paul wrote the book of Paul. We assume John, John of Patmos. John of Patmos. I'm like, assuming. These people are assuming. These people are assuming these things. So the more we were learning about the religion, this was no longer surface Christianity now. This was now in depth.
Deep research.
Deep research. The thing just was falling apart. I went to the Reverend Father one day and said, I wanted to know what are his thoughts about hell. Because don't forget, this concept of hell has plagued me all my life. And the Reverend Father said he does not believe in hell. What do you mean you don't believe in hell? He said he does not believe that a loving God will create hell. He went through this long, he thinks God did. I didn't hear the rest. I only heard that when he said he does not think it. I said, so you don't believe in hell? Say, hey.
Wow.
I said, wait, hang on. So, all my life, I've been tortured by this thing. and to meet people that who are Christians too, but don't even believe in. I said, okay, what else did I learn in Deeper Life and all these other Niger churches that these people don't believe in? It was like a quest.
Yeah.
So, in the wake of George Floyd, if you remember when George Floyd died.
Yeah, 2020, yeah.
So in the church there, people were saying, that there's silent racism going on in the church and this and that and that. Someone was talking to me and the person said, Jesus was not even a white man. I said, what do you mean? He said, Jesus was not.
Voila.
We don't think Jesus was white. I said, no. We have images of Jesus. We have it. His image, blonde hair, blue eyes, they said that is not Jesus. I said, you people have started.
Voila.
Because I was so convinced that was what Jesus looked like. So I went again to Reverend Father, went to go and have a meeting with him. What do you think about Jesus's ethnicity?
Appearance.
I've been told that Jesus is not white. Is it true? And the Reverend Father said, yes, it is true. Jesus was not. That he thinks that Jesus was a black Rastafarian. He said that is the lie. These were his words. That's the lie that the church sold to the world. He said the church needs to apologize for that lie that they
You rather
sold.
die.
The man saw my face. He said, what most Christians do, they tend to imagine a Jesus in their own image, their own image. I said, sir, that's not going to work. All my life, I thought Jesus was a white man. So now you're telling me that he might have been a black Rastafarian? And then he said it was a lie that the church sold to the world. So he said to me, you know what? He says, I can see your struggle. He said, don't focus too much on Jesus's ethnicity. Focus on what Jesus came to do. Focus on Jesus's message. Let that be your guiding. So I left that meeting. I left that meeting that day asking the question, what did Jesus come to do? What exactly was Jesus' mission here on earth? So Jesus came to come and be a blood sacrifice to his Father. So two people ate a fruit and humanity became condemned. Humanity became sinners because two people ate a fruit. Instead of the Almighty God to forgive these two for the crime of eating, he decides to condemn. And now he needs his own child to come through a virgin only to be killed for his Father to be happy and to bring humanity close to himself so that we don't go to hell. I'm like, wait, God created hell and God created Satan. And those questions, when those questions started, the Reverend Father said, don't worry too much about his ethnicity. The church I was going to, all over the church, you see the pictures of a white Jesus all over, whiter than white. I felt like, how can I sit in this kind of place looking at this thing that is a lie? You're telling me your Reverend Father is telling me that he thinks Jesus would have been a black Rastafarian, and you want me to sit here comfortable that this is all over. I even took pictures. My last day in the church, I said, I cannot do this. I can't do this. And it started to fall apart. Christianity just asking questions just made the religion just start to fall apart little by little, little by little. Then I came across Daddy Freeze online. who was challenging. He was challenging. Yes. I was a member of the Free Nation. I was a member of the Free Nation. Because, yes, Free the Shibboleth movement. Yes, I was part of that movement. But I realized that whilst Daddy Freeze was debunking all these other preachers, I started to debunk Daddy Freeze by myself. The things that Daddy Freeze was posing as he was, teaching as the truth, I would take that back to my Reverend Father and go ask questions. And turns out Daddy Freeze himself was wrong. I'm like, so who among these people is even telling the truth? You know what? I said, guys, I don't do again. I'm not doing again. I could not look at Christianity in the same light because nothing made sense anymore. Then I started reading the Bible. I started looking. When I read some of the stories, I'm like, hey, who is the person that wrote this story? How did a virgin got pregnant and people believe that crap? Anyway, it all fell apart. And I one day said, you know what? I'm an atheist. I don't believe. And I just looked at all religions as all one and the same. So my son, who we used to force to come with us to church, he never wanted to be in church. He would never. I had to call my son and say, I am no longer a church person anymore. I'm now church free. I'm now an atheist. My son said, Mom, he said, do you understand how I felt? He said, then when you used to force us to church, that when they are reading from the Bible, that the Bible never made sense to him. That he will see all the adults nodding their head while they are reading from the Bible. And he'll be wondering that, these stories that don't make sense to his own mind, that all these people are agreeing to. I said, son, I understand it now. Now it makes sense. So I said to my son, I said, son, I apologize for all the days that we forced you to church. All the time that we forced you to accept Christianity and you never accepted. No, that all the days we forced you to accept Christianity. I said, I apologize. I said, and secondly, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for never buying into the lie. Because had it been can you imagine if my son now had bought into the indoctrination and into the brainwashing, I'll be feeling like I've got to undo the nonsense. My 12-year-old son, that one is on his way to being an atheist. He just does not send church people. Most of the stories, sometimes we have conversations about Bible stories. Because he wants to know, why, Mom, why are you an atheist? My 12-year-old, why are you an atheist? I remember when he was 9 years old, he came to me. He said, Mom, I don't want to be a Christian anymore. I said, why not? I was still a Christian then. He said, Mom, when Jesus died, I heard that there was so much blood. He was killed and there was blood everywhere. He said, Mom, I don't like blood. He said, so I don't want to identify with that. How did he say it? I don't remember his words, but those were. So then he was 9. And I started thinking that, come to think of it, this boy has a point. Why would the Savior of the world
Blood of Jesus.
die in such a horrible, barbaric? Was there no other way they could have done it? There are other means.
God could be dramatic.
God could have just forgiven for the sake of. Now we're torturing children by teaching. Imagine my son coming and say, I don't want to be a Christian anymore because there's too much blood. It's too much for him. a young mind. So me and him, we have conversations. He asked me, why am I an atheist? My 12-year-old, he's 12 now, asked me, why am I an atheist? And I said to him that in Christianity, no, was he, why am I an atheist? He said, why am I no longer a Christian? Yes. I said, Christianity believes that long ago, two people ate a fruit. The first humans on earth ate a fruit that God was unhappy about. And for that reason, everybody gets punished, including babies. I said, have you ever seen a newborn baby? He said, yes. I said, imagine a newborn baby. According to Christians and Christianity, a newborn baby is a sinner. A newborn baby is a condemned human. As they are born, they are condemned. And my son said, Mom, that's wrong. I said, that's just one reason why I am no longer a Christian. I said, I can tell you so much more. The other day, just last week, we were talking about the Noah flood, the story of Noah and flood. I asked him, does he think the whole earth, the whole planet can be flooded all at the same time? He said it's impossible. He's 12. So my two children would not have to go through what I went through. And for that, I'm happy. If my atheism never takes me anywhere, if my atheism ends within the four walls of my home, at least I'm teaching my children critical thinking, logical reasoning. But I have told them, if they choose to be religious, I will support them in their choices. I said, but the only one thing they owe me is, the only one thing I ask, if they choose the path of religion, is to do homework. Find out the origins of the religion, how it started, do your homework about it. Don't just
history.
Take in everything you're told. Don't just believe if the religion has a book, don't just believe the content of the book. You owe it to yourself to at least find out what you believe. What is this religion all about? Don't just believe for the sake of believing. Believe because you are convinced. If you're not convinced, what's the point? So yes. That's my little story.
Wow. that's a fucking amazing story. Like the journey was wow.
I've broken it down in a short, but trust me, there's more.
I know. Everyone's story is never a 1 hour tale. It's always condensed in settings like this.
You know something? So, for yourself, I also would like to know your story, but I know maybe not here. Have you shared your story on a podcast before? I would like to go.
Yeah, 3 times. Yeah.
Okay. Do you think you can send me the links, please? I would like, because
I'll do that.
I feel like anyone who is in Nigeria right now, Nigeria is very, very deeply religious.
Oh, understatement.
And to be an atheist in such a deeply religious country, I respect you. How you did it? I'm curious. I want to know. I want to know.
I'll send you the link. Yeah,
I need to know it.
It's the internet. Ironically, it's the internet that's so far from the stories I've heard from people who are also living in Nigeria. It's the internet that has been a good resource. So that is why. The next generation will be far less religious.
Even me too. When my questioning started, when I went to the Church of England and I saw the disparity between how we worshipped in Africa and how they worshipped here, then started listening to Daddy Freeze. He's debunking Adeboye, debunking this, debunking that, And then the things he would say I'll go on the internet. I'll type, like Daddy Freeze said, this. I'll go type, to go see.
Yeah.
I started the journey of debunking Freeze. And YouTube was very, very helpful for me. The atheist experience, the thinking atheist, lots of them like that. It was, and that's why I have a YouTube channel myself, because I feel like
something like that, Nigeria.
I feel we need a call-in show in Nigeria. You need a call-in show.
It is so funny.
Yes, when people can call about, like what they do, the atheist experience,
Yeah.
If someone from Adeboye's church will call in and say, Papa Adeboye, I remember when I was in Redeem, one day we went to camp and Adeboye said, everybody should close their eyes. He said, there's a lady here. God said, under your armpits, where instead of hair, that you have feathers growing under there. No, I was there. I was there like this. He said there are feathers growing under there. He said everybody should close their eyes. He said the lady, I don't know, did he say she should come out or she should stay where she is? She come out. And the person, whoever it was, came out. Feather under your armpits. Okay. You know, this kind of things. Like an avenue for people to debunk these pastors. And then I watched a video, Paul Enenche, a lady, Paul Enenche is a medical doctor. It's very painful. It's very painful. Him and his wife are medical doctors. And
his wife too?
Yes. Yeah. A lady in his church came forward and said while they were praying, a ring fell out of her vagina. A ring, engagement ring.
Yeah.
Fell out of her vagina. And Enenche said, that is the devil's handwork. That's why she has not been married all this while. Wait, a medical doctor is saying that ring fell from somebody's vagina. And instead of, whether his sense does not tell him that, this is either impossible or she needs medical, they need to go check, do a proper scan of how on earth do rings fall out of vaginas, for goodness sake? And they even had the ring. They had the video of the ring. Like, you see,
you have to turn off critical thinking for it to work.
Most of those pastors that we have in Nigeria, from Adeboye, Oyedepo, or the one who died, TB Joshua. Those men are a cancer to society. Those men, they have had they have been allowed to get away with murder. Those men have lied their way to where they are. And we need to put a stop. Honestly, we need to put a stop to it. Yeah. Enough. And yes, I liked what Daddy Freeze was doing. Freeze was debunking them. But while debunking them, Freeze was preaching his own version of his own Christianity. It's like we're not escaping this thing at all. It's like from frying pan to fire.
The so-called free nation, they are themselves as sheep of Freeze. So who is deceiving who?
I donate. I used to donate to the cause now. When Daddy Freeze had his birthday, the very first birthday of Free, when it was his very first birthday, Free Nation. This was when I said, no, it's time to get out of this nonsense. Someone sent him 20K. Freeze came online. Freeze was angry. Freeze said, you people deserve the pastors that you have. Said, now we understand why these pastors are very greedy and why these pastors take our money. He said it was his birthday and only one person gave him 20K. Nobody thought that they should send him anything. So he said, now he sees why the pastors obtain money from the people. That's when his tone started changing. That's when he started being friends with what's his name, Suleiman, all these other, his tone. Because when he started, he came in hard for these men. Yeah, but I think he saw that there's no money in this.
Money to be made.
There's no money in this tactic I'm using.
Free nation.
So the
criticizing them.
Now, the other day, I said, let me even go and check what is free is up to now. He had Nkechi Sunday, be Blessing Sunday, Nkechi Sunday, talking about wearing pants or no wearing pants. I said, so this is where we are at now. We are now interviewing Yeye British. We are now interviewing Yeye British, talking about removing pants or no pants. It's a good job I left them. But listen, I've enjoyed this conversation, and please, if you need me to come back anytime, just let me know.
Sure, I will.
Because this is a conversation that I'm very passionate about. I feel like for us who have since made our way out, it's not enough to just fold our hands and do nothing. Nigeria has been the poverty capital of the world for several years in a row. Our people are in poverty, but somehow these people, however poor they are, still feel the need to go give 10% and more. In most cases, they will give more. Our people, religion has taken a hold of them. The time that they, can you imagine? I go online now on during the week, Monday, Tuesday, I go and check out different Nigerian churches. They are online. Monday morning, they are praying. I'm like, hey, Chineke. Monday morning. The business.
There's one guy, Jerry Eze. He opened his business.
I've done it. I've done a live stream on Jerry Eze before on my
vibrating. Listen, what the fuck?
It's a scam. It's a scam. Scam 101.
People fall for it. Someone in the office that showed me him.
Do you know the painful part for me? The painful part for me, ranting, is the time that people can be using to be productive, the time that people can be using to make something out of their lives, they're inside the church, wasting it there. If you're here in the UK, 4 hours, if you earned minimum wage, at least you would make let's see, how much is minimum wage now? Maybe near £40. And these people are in there wasting away, ranting. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we owe it to our people though, to expose the lies of religion.
More people.
That's right. But I want to thank you for what you're doing. And there's something about the way you do it, which I think is special. You are, you don't hold your tongue. You say it as it is. That is what our people need. We don't need to Molly coddle them. Look at this young lady that died now. That young lady that died. You see the Muslims trying to justify why it is okay to kill her for blasphemy. No, enough is enough. There are no gods or deities telling people anything. We have made up these gods. We have made up these laws and called them laws that came from a god.
Nonsense.
And we are killing our own for these deities. Enough. It's enough.
Enough is enough. So, please, where can we find you online?
I'm on YouTube. The Afro Humanist.
Afro Humanist.
That's right. Where we are we are preaching the message.
For lack of a better term.
Yes. No, ranting. When I was in deeper life, we used to go for evangelism now. I used to preach in the bus now.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
I still remember one day I was preaching. I was going to work in the morning. I just finished secondary school and got myself this little job working in this pastry shop. And on my way to work, got in the bus and started preaching. One man said, he said, it's too early in the morning, driver, stop, I can't take this. And he got out of the car and walked. And then the people inside the bus were like, sister, carry on. The devil has left. The devil has left us.
The devil. Nonsense.
You know, ranting. Now when I think about that man, I feel so sorry for disturbing his early morning.
Not knowing what he has been through.
I don't know.
The weekends before. We got there step by step, inch by inch. At least 2 years ago, I was not an atheist. So,
really?
Yes, 2 years ago, I was still going through my deconstruction. And this time last year, I was still going through the phase. So, yes, 2 years ago.
That means you haven't been long an atheist.
Hasn't been long. Yes, 2020. So
I thought it's been a long time.
Yeah. So
wow. And in your case, your father is a pastor, right?
Yes.
His
God will help him when he finds out, whenever he finds out. So
well,
let's see how long it will take.
That's it.
Thank you for listening to this episode. Hope you learned a thing or two from the Afro Humanist story. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing on Apple, Spotify, Google, and other places podcasts are available. Then if you'd like to share your story, please feel free to reach out via DMs on social media or via emails. All the links are in the show notes below. Have a great week ahead, and I will catch you on the next one.